Hello, I'm Monica Perry, one of the subject specialists at the PSHE Association, and welcome to episode 6 of Ask a Subject Specialist. We get lots of really interesting questions about PSHE education, and we're going to explore some of those this afternoon. If you have questions that you would like to ask, please do get in touch with us using the email address you can see on the bottom of the screen, and one of the specialists will get back to you. So let's get started. Our first question is a topical one. We're thinking about asking our local fire service to come into school and deliver assemblies on safety around fires and fireworks. Do you think this will cover the PSHE content on the topic well enough? Well, when done in line with safe and effective practice principles, visiting speakers can be a really great addition to a curriculum programme. There should be some careful consideration before visiting speakers are brought in front of students. They should complement a comprehensive programme of study. Assemblies and one-off sessions about issues can be really memorable and impactful. They can raise awareness of an issue, but long-lasting learning is not necessarily going to come from that alone. It needs to be embedded with some follow-up lessons afterwards. Also, it's worth thinking about pupils with increased vulnerability. So perhaps they've had a personal experience of the issue. Sometimes in these sessions, there's not a lot of opportunity to discuss the issues raised. So we need to think about a well-rounded curriculum programme around these visiting speakers as well. We do have guidance available to support your work with visiting speakers, so that if you find somebody who you think might be helpful, you can ask the right questions and have some proper preparation. Things to consider here are making sure that a visiting speaker is not going to inadvertently instruct students on how to carry out risky behaviours, such as how to illegally purchase fireworks or unsafe things to do with them. The guidance can also help you to frame a supportive but also critical discussion to decide whether the visiting speaker is appropriate for your young people. It's also worth pointing out that we do have some new lesson plans that have just been released for Key Stage 2 and 3 on firework safety, and these could be used with or without a visiting speaker on this topic. Okay, the second question is, I'm head of PSHE in my school. The governors have asked for a meeting about the subject and my curriculum plans for it. What do they need to know and how can I prepare? First of all, it's brilliant to hear that the governors are really interested in PSHE education. I think it's worth considering what questions they might ask you beforehand. So things along the lines of, what are the strengths of the PSHE curriculum? Do any areas need further development? Does the PSHE curriculum include statutory RSHE content? How are staff being supported? So things like CPD, to stay abreast of the issues and to embed effective education. How do you know if the PSHE education curriculum benefits all pupils? Do you have evidence to support this? So here, it would be really helpful to think about the vulnerable and SEND pupils in your school and how you're meeting their needs. What do pupils think about PSHE education in the school? What about parents? Do you have any evidence to support this? And based on what we have learnt, what should we be doing more of or doing differently? Now, as part of the preparation, I'd really recommend using our subject review tool, which is an interactive tool that enables you to really evaluate your provision and identify some priorities. And you look at key areas around leadership and management of the subject, the curriculum itself, and teaching and learning. It's really useful to identify your next steps. And I think going through this process and being able to share that with the governors would be really helpful in your meeting. You could also refer the governors to our PSHE guide for governing boards. Here you'll find lots of information, and there's also a longer list of questions that you could use to prepare. And just remember, good luck, you will be great. Our next question. I am a little unsure about how to build fundamental British values into the PSHE curriculum. What do you advise to do this well? The first thing that I want to point out, looking at fundamental British values, is that this needs to be a whole school approach. PSHE is one part of that. And it might be helpful to look at the DFE guidance on promoting British values in school. And you'll see that lots of the suggestions in there are actually beyond the PSHE provision. However, you may feel that having a specific focus within PSHE lessons around themes to do with inclusion, themes to do with respect and valuing difference might work well. It is important when exploring those themes that they're embedded across your curriculum rather than having standalone lessons on those themes. And this is where our programme of study can be really helpful, because it can help you to identify areas of your curriculum that are contributing to the British values agenda. So, for example, you can see some learning opportunities on the screen here that are taken from the programme of study, and these link to British values. So the red opportunities link to respect and tolerance, the purple point links to individual liberty, and the green to democracy. Specific lesson packs that contribute to the British values agenda include our drug and alcohol education pack, where pupils will learn about the rule of law. They will consider rights and responsibilities, which contributes towards mutual respect. We have inclusion, belonging, and addressing extremism for Key Stage 4, which incorporates individual liberty and democracy. We also have a wealth of quality assured resource packs, including this one, The Internet Citizens, which was produced by Google, YouTube, and ISD. And in this, students get the opportunity to consider what free speech means in British law. So hopefully these different suggestions will help you to develop a clear understanding of how PSHE contributes to that wider fundamental British values programme in your school. Our final question today is, do Key Stage 5 need PSHE lessons if they have been taught all of the statutory content by the end of Key Stage 4? So the statutory guidance outlines what must be taught by the end of secondary school, and as many young people will go into different routes and pathways for the post-16 option, schools should deliver that content by the end of year 11. However, the statutory guidance does state that we would encourage schools and colleges to support students by offering these subjects, such as RSHE, at Key Stage 5. And similarly, although the Ofsted handbook is less prescriptive in its sixth form provision of PSHE education, it does make it clear that inspectors will consider how well sixth form students develop personal, social, and independent learning skills. It will consider how well students conduct an attitude, including in non-qualification or enrichment activities and work experience, prepare them for employment or progress to higher levels of study, and how well students develop an age-appropriate understanding, healthy relationships through appropriate relationships and sex education. Crucially as well, Key Stage 5 is the last opportunity to really ensure that students have competence in the skills and strategies that they've been learning as part of their PSHE education right through school, so that we can really equip them for independent life. Our programme of study goes right through to Key Stage 5, so there are learning opportunities for this stage. We also have a planning tool and programme builder for Key Stage 5 that supports you to plan and tailor your schemes of work at this level. So thank you for watching, and I hope that the answers have been helpful for you today. Please do continue to send your questions in to us, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you.